Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 21st of November 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's morning session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. The content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so now then, just a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel here, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website and specifically our JFD research page, which we update on a daily basis, and I believe you can find a lot of useful stuff here for yourselves, guys. So yep, feel free to visit us here. Like I said, check us out here on jfdbank.com, and I believe, like I said, I believe you can find a lot of useful stuff here for yourself. So yep, we'll be happy to see you here. Anyway, guys, let's jump into the charts. Now, the first one I want to touch on here is the FTSE100. Now, I keep looking at this one for this week, and basically it keeps violating these two of my levels. So in a way, what we can say is that maybe it's time to get rid of those, because in a way it's just kind of moving sideways here and just continues to expand its little range here. But the way we could look at this now is, of course, we can see that the cash index is trading slightly below this level right here near the 7,240 mark. So in a way, we can get rid of these two levels here because that's no longer going to be valid. In a way, what we could do is we will continue observing this this activity here inside, or should I say around here, around this 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart. But as you probably can see now, the big it's basically balancing inside a much bigger range. So with the upper bound being near the 7,440 mark, and the lower bound being roughly near the 7,140. Now, these are the targets that I was talking about previously. So, in a way, still these targets remain for us. There are still important ones from the especially from the shorter time frame. But the way we could play this one out is probably even trying to keep it more simple, basically. So, in a way, you can see that yesterday the index managed to find some support near the 7,220 mark, and currently, like I said, it is currently balancing near the 7,240 zone, something like that, on the cash index, of course. So in a way, if we get a drop below the yesterday's lows, this is when we will start aiming lower. Again, don't get me wrong, we will be very careful here, because in a way it could travel lower but could fail, for example, to reach the 7,140 zone and then reverse back to the upside. So this way, kind of taking out and stopping out a lot of traders. So that's why, guys, be very careful in this one. Probably let's, given the kind of the difficult situation here, I would say let's keep it short and simple. Let's have a stop loss in place, and basically, if we see a drop below the yesterday's lows, yes, we will aim for lower areas. Our target is still going to be the 7,140 zone, but we'll be very careful. Let's say if we are in profit here, we'll quickly probably put a stop loss just in break even, just in case this suddenly reverses back to the upside, because we're seeing this happening right now. So that's why we rather be safe than sorry, and we'll just continue observing this kind of slightly wider range. In terms of the upside here, again, with the similar story here with the upside, basically we need to be very careful. So if we get a push back above the 200 EMA and we start seeing a push above the high of yesterday near the 7,324 area, roughly around there, then yes, we will aim for the 7,440 mark again. Now, again with this one here, also the same story as with the downside. Basically, if we do get a push higher, we may see this one traveling higher, but maybe it will end up kind of failing to test the 7,440 mark, and maybe it'll slow down somewhere around here, on the kind of in the midway. So that's why we will also have a stop loss in place. Just let's say if let's say we're in profit here, then we'll just put something into break even here, and just to protect ourselves in case this reverses to the downside. So again, it's a very tricky one, but at the same time quite interesting, and especially for those who like to trade ranges. So, but again with that, again, stop loss and the stop loss is quite important, just in, like I said, just in case this starts kind of reversing the other way. Now then, jumping into one commodity very quickly, which I wanted to talk about. Basically, this in the beginning of this week, I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this channel here, rising channel. But as you can see on Tuesday, we managed to break the lower bound, and we managed to drop below the 55.55 mark. But yesterday, as you can see, the commodity exploded again to the upside. So basically, this is, well, to be honest, a lot of people probably got stopped out here, but this is quite tricky in a way, because we did get a drop lower, we did get a break below the 55.55 zone, but as you can see, the market got pushed back to the upside yesterday. It got held near one of our barriers here, near the 57.10 zone. This is what I talked about previously in one of my videos recently, where if, let's say, this travels higher, and we see the price pushing to the upside here, for us to consider higher levels, ideally we would like to see a push above this barrier right here, the 57.10. So in a way, then we will aim for this strong area of resistance near the 57.80, 81 zone. But if that fails to withhold, this could push further north. In a way, we could keep an eye on this rising channel. The only thing is that probably it's losing its significance right now, just because it kind of really got violated here on the downside. And now again, we will keep an eye on this one for now, but like I said, mainly focus on our resistance and support barriers, because yes, it may travel higher, yes, it may maybe end up testing the upper bound of the rising channel, but if it violates the upper bound of the rising channel here at some point later on, then definitely we can get rid of this channel. But for now, like I said, just for illustrative purposes, we will keep it on the chart. But like I said, mainly we'll focus on the barriers here, on the resistance barriers. So for now, there is a good chance we could see this one drifting higher, but for that we would need to see a nice good push, a strong push above the 57.10 zone again, because as you can see, we did have a push, but we never got a close of at least of a 4-hour candle. So in a way, if we get that close above the close of a 4-hour candle above this level, the 57.10, then yep, we will aim for slightly higher levels. But again, we'll be very careful and cautious, and we'll have our stop loss in place. EURCAD, I talked about this one yesterday, and basically this is where the rising channel is kind of working out nicely for now. Now, yesterday, initially when I was looking at this one, I was telling you guys that we may see maybe a bit of a correction here at some point before kind of, let's say, another leg of buying. But as you can see, the pair ignored all that. It just traveled straight away to the upper bound and tested the upper bound. And this is where it got stalled. The level around there was roughly, nope, not this one. Yeah, there we go. So roughly around the 1.4756 mark. So this is where the rate got stalled. So in a way, now we can see that there is a bit of a correction happening from that area. At this point, it would be very tricky to say that we may see a further move higher, especially if the rising channel is something that the pair would like to respect. So in a way, because there's not really a lot of uproom here for this one to kind of make its way higher, so yes, a bit of correction could be possible, but in a way, how you could play this one out is, and if we get a hold up maybe near the pivot, today's pivot, or near this level right here, the high of, let me just zoom in here, the high of the 31st of October, which is around the 1.4720. If we get a hold up around here, then yeah, we may see a nice rebound and a push back to the upside, where we will keep a close eye on this 1.4756 mark, because if it holds again, we could see maybe we could see maybe this one correcting back to the downside a little bit more. But if it starts failing, then in a way it could also lead to a break of this the upper bound of the rising channel, and we could see now maybe much higher areas. So we'll keep an eye on this one. We'll be very careful here because on the shorter time frame it is quite extended here to the upside. So that's why, guys, for now, let's keep an eye on that one. Let's keep an eye on that one, and yep, let's see how this is gonna play out here. So and in terms of the downside here, guys, in terms of the downside, basically, one moment, just a second, I'm having a few technical issues, guys, here. So with the downside, guys, basically, so we will consider maybe slightly lower areas if we see a drop below this little territory here, which is the low of yesterday. But again, as I've mentioned yesterday, we do have a little kind of upside line here, which could in a way stall the rate initially, and we could see maybe this one getting a hold up near this upside line. This upside line is, by the way, taken from the low of the 12th of November. So in a way, if we get a drop lower here below the 1.4682 zone, yes, we will aim for the for this upside line. But if that upside line fails and we see a drop below the 1.4650 54, 55 mark, now this is where it could become a little bit more interesting for the sellers, as this could open the path towards the lower bound, in the direction of the lower bound of this rising channel. But again, for now, again, like I said, we are at a very interesting spot here. In a way, if the pair wants to continue respecting the rising channel, then it should in a way kind of retrace a little bit more here and then maybe push higher. But if it doesn't, if let's say it starts rebounding from here, from around the 1.4720 mark, then we'll be very careful, and we'll keep an eye on this pair and see what it wants to do near this 47.56 mark. If it wants to push further north, then the rising we can ignore the whole rising channel pattern. NZDCAD, something else quite interesting here. So also, I haven't looked at this one for quite a while, but to be honest, looking at the price structure here, you can see that how well this is moving to the upside. Every kind of move is, to be honest, almost like everything's like almost from the book. So everything's like from the technical analysis book. So basically manual. And for now, you can see that yes, it is climbing higher. It is trading above this little short-term tentative upside line taken from the low of the 29th of October. At the moment here, after having this nice rally to the upside on Tuesday, the pair is now kind of stalling a little bit here. Some could say maybe this is a flag, but to be honest, this is not really a nice straightforward flag. So that's why we're not gonna kind of, let's say, examine this as a flag, as a potential flag or a pennant, because this is not really ideal. So in a way, it could be just a small formation, maybe just maybe this could even lead to a small reversal back to the downside, which in a way could come in line with the EURCAD idea as well. So that's why, guys, for now, yes, it's wonderful. The pair managed to travel higher, managed to test the area near the 0.8550 zone, but but let's say right now, in a way, we could, if the CAD will strengthen slightly, then we could see this one drifting to the upside. And the reason, kind of a small reason for the CAD strengthening, could be the fact that we are having a bounce in the oil prices. So yep, let's keep an eye on that one, guys, and let's keep an eye on this idea. So if the oil prices continue to strengthen, we may see the CAD strengthening as well. So let's see how this plays out. In a way, we are considering this potential scenario. If, let's say, this decides to retrace a little bit lower, we'll keep a close eye on the 0.85 mark. If this area provides decent support, then we could see a nice rebound and a push to the upside. But if it starts breaking, then from the very short-term perspective, we will consider possible retest of this upside support line taken from the low of the 29th of October. So let's keep an eye on this one. Let's see how this is going to play out. But for now, guys, let's be very careful. If this decides to push higher straight away, then yep, keep your eyes on the 0.85, 50, 51 zone, which is the high of yesterday. This way, the pair would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and we could target even higher levels here. And by higher levels, I mean something around here, maybe first. That could be a nice, good potential target, and that's roughly around the 0.8567 zone. I do understand it's not far, but again, it's a very strong area of resistance, and also, but if it overcomes that, we will aim for the 0.86 mark, which is the high of the 15th of August. So let's keep an eye on this one, guys. GBPUSD, quick mentioning of this, not much happening here, and not many changes. Still, as I said yesterday on this one, basically we're keeping an eye on this upside line, short-term tentative upside support line taken from the low of the 8th of November. For us to get comfortable with higher levels, well, we need to see a push above the 1.13 level here, and only then we will aim for the upside. In terms of the downside, we need to see a drop, and now this is where it's kind of weird. We could be shifting our potential breakout point to the downside a little bit higher. So the pair managed to move a little bit further, excuse me, further north, but further above the upside line. So in a way, now kind of we could be aiming for this 1.2886 zone, roughly around here, 86, 85. If we get a drop below this, then yep, we will aim for the downside here, a little bit for the downside, initially targeting the 1.2767, and then we'll take it from there. But again, like I said, this is going to be the level for us for the downside. And finally, euro dollar. Now with the euro dollar, as I've mentioned over the past few of my videos, we're neutral right now on this one, because for us to get excited about the upside, we need to see a push above the 1.1093. In order to consider slightly lower areas, a drop below the 1.1043 level would be needed. So for now, as long as it kind of remains here, we're going to be somewhat neutral. Or not very somewhat neutral, but neutral. But the only thing is that given that the 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart kind of continues to play as a strong area of support, you can see that the bulls really don't want to let this one go, and in a way they could push this one higher. But again, just to be on the safe side, wait for a break above this barrier first, and then we could start examining higher levels, because for now it could make a run higher, but could stall near this 1.1093 and then reverse back to the downside. So we've seen something like this happening many times, so that's why we'll be very careful with this one. And as I said, with the downside, the 1.1043 level, that's what we need to see in order to consider a possible slide lower, and then we will consider a possible move towards the low of the 14th of November near the 1.0989. So basically that's the lowest point of last week. So let's keep an eye on this one, guys. Okay, guys, I really hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching it till the end. If you want to join me later on at my traders' tea time, as always, that's 14:15 GMT. For now, guys, I hope you have a beautiful trading day. Stay safe, be very careful, have your stop losses in place, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.